I look at crypto as projects. So let's just say when you're investing in crypto, I look at it as you're investing in a project. That's how I look at it. So the technology and the community kind of really dictates the value.
On this episode of Early Bird, Eamon Dow, a YouTuber who talks about investing and has a certification in financial modeling. Eamon stops by to reveal the characteristics to look for when investing in cryptocurrency. Plus, Eamon talks about his overall crypto philosophy. If you're an investor looking to stay on top of the latest market trends, then you're listening to the right podcast. This is Early Bird, and I'm your host, Stephen Lerner. Before we get to today's discussion, let me tell you how you can save time and beat the market through Early Bird, a free daily email newsletter featuring commentary about the latest trends in stocks, cryptocurrency, and equity crowdfunding. Early Bird is designed to help individual and non-professional investors stay on top of all of the critical investing trends. The newsletter is 100% free and is sent to your email box each weekday morning. Subscribe to Early Bird for free at www.earlybird.email. Once again, that's earlybird.email. And now, today's discussion. All right, Eamon, thank you for joining us today on the Early Bird podcast. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. And yourself?
I'm doing great, thank you. So, Eamon, the audience, I'm sure, is pretty curious. You know, you have this YouTube channel. You have nearly 1,300 subscribers. As a finance YouTuber, I'd love to hear, how did you get started in investing and into YouTubing about this subject?
Yeah. So pretty much I first came across, I want to say, like investing more so in stocks a little after college. One of my close friends, he mentioned that, someone because he was in grad school, someone in my class was talking about different types of stocks, and he checks it every day. And he was like, you should check it out. And then he introduced me to this platform called Share Builder, where I end up, at that time, it was like $5 a trade. And that was back then, that was like the cheapest it could go. But I ended up buying a few stocks here, a few stocks there. And then I guess from there, a little later on, I got a little bit more serious, started putting a lot more money. And then, I don't know, I guess since I had a natural interest in, coming up with ways to make money, and had a background of, I guess you can say, being good with money, big time saver. I think I just kind of naturally drifted into it. But I want to say maybe one of the key things that really got me into it, they had a podcast called the Investor Podcast Network with Preston and Stig. So a lot of the fundamentals that Warren Buffett teach and then the value investing were actually read a couple of their books. It was called like Warren Buffett Favorite Books by Preston. And then they had another one for accounting. I kind of like that one in particular because they took, I guess, the three most popular books that people was talking about, like The Wealth of Nations, The Intelligent Investor, and they kind of put it in almost like you can think about it as a Spark Notes. And it kind of really helped you really digest the information. And a good thing about it is that they had videos to go with the book. So some people learn a little bit better like through videos. And that's where I got like a real solid foundation of the fundamentals of investing. Yeah. So.
And now you have the YouTube channel where you produce your weekly videos. They look really good, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
How do you come up with the topics for them? Because I'm looking at them, and there's so many different topics from both traditional and alternative investments. It's very informative. How do you come up with those topics?
Well, initially, I end up trying to find topics that in the search engine, I noticed people were searching. That's kind of how I started out. But then later on, I kind of transitioned because the original purpose of the channel was for new investors, so people who are new and they're trying to learn it, try to put a little bit of entertainment here and there, but kind of really focus on investment in general, and then transitioning into stocks. But the goal was to pretty much share my journey. So as I learn new things, do more videos, and the audience can grow as I particularly grow. But I had to, from the feedback that I end up getting, that a lot of people end up saying that this is pretty cool, but I don't really know what you're talking about. So that's when I made playlists like for beginners, investing for beginners, and just kind of start from there, like why you should invest, and then different types of investment mistakes. So therefore, like anyone who's new, they can kind of watch the video and kind of follow as well. And I noticed that a lot of other people, as far as people, a lot of times people get trading and investing mixed up. So I did a video on that as well. Yeah, so like sometimes if I find something interesting or a new platform, like I got to do a video on it. Other times I might ask people, hey, what should I do a video on? And they might give me a topic. If something like I want to say everyone's talking about, I'll probably do a video or something like that. Yeah, so that's kind of how I like do the videos. Right now, I'm doing a lot of different stock analysis, individual stocks. I try to pick stocks that people are familiar with to kind of keep them more engaged, something that they can kind of relate to a little bit versus maybe a company that they're not really familiar about to really catch their interest, like the Facebooks, Etsy, Snapchat, Pinterest, something that like they can kind of relate to.
Absolutely. I think that's what I really like about your YouTube videos, which are available on the YouTube channel Dow's Stock Talk. There's a great amount of topics there. And one of those big investment topics today that we're going to dive into is with cryptocurrencies. So Eamon, in 30 seconds, give me your overall philosophy on cryptocurrencies. What is your approach when it comes to cryptocurrency investing?
Yeah, so with cryptocurrency, I kind of think about it as like any other currency. The value really comes from the community or the masses adopting it. Like for every different, even if you kind of think about the US dollar, there had to be a consensus that everyone is going to be like, okay, this is what we're going to use to transfer value. And that's kind of how I look at crypto, but with a lot of things that we're going into more of the digital stage, with crypto, it can help make things a lot more efficient. And the main thing that with crypto is that you're kind of removing that middleman. So a lot of times, like for example, with the federal government, you kind of have to trust that they're going to print I want to say a decent amount of dollars, but like not too much.
Got it. And from an investment standpoint, what are you looking at? And again, this video is just for entertainment purposes. We're not giving actual financial advice, but what do you look at? Are you looking at some of the major cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Cardano, or are you also looking at some of the meme coins like Dogecoin that have really started to become popular in the past year?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what I'm primarily focused on, and by the way, probably should kind of mention this. So with crypto, since it's still in the early stages, most of the time in my portfolio, my total portfolio for crypto, it would be less than 5%. Yeah. So but as far as the major cryptos, this would be my game plan. So I would stick to anything that's in the top 15. but like I would really focus on the ones that have the longest track record. So, for example, Bitcoin. The reason why I'm kind of um, pick Bitcoin because most of the other cryptocurrency follow the behavior of Bitcoin. So if something was to happen to Bitcoin, all Bitcoin is pretty much the leader that I guess you could consider the original. And Bitcoin to me is by far the coin that's the most accepted on a national level. Like you can buy a lot of things with Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is big. When we return, we'll hear from Eamon about crypto characteristics that you should pay attention to. But first, let me tell you how you can become a more informed investor through Early Bird, a free daily email newsletter. Early Bird has commentary on the latest events and trends in stocks, cryptocurrency, and crowdfunding. With Early Bird's daily weekday email, investors can quickly stay on top of the trends and beat the market. Subscribe to Early Bird for free at www.earlybird.email. Once again, that's earlybird.email. And now, back to today's discussion. So, Eamon, let's look at some of the characteristics that investors should pay attention to when it comes to cryptocurrency. Not all coins are the same, and so when you're making that investment, what are some characteristics that you would recommend that investors look at when it comes to cryptocurrencies?
So the first thing I would look at is the circulating supply. So meaning how many coins are that can pretty much be mined altogether. So typically, if you're looking for some type of value, you want a number amount. So like after these coins, are mined, that way that there you can't produce any, supposedly you're not supposed to be producing more, and it gives that type of scarcity. Now, speaking of crypto in general, the way I look at crypto, it may not be correct, but I look at crypto as projects. So let's just say when you're investing in crypto, I look at it as you're investing in a project. That's how I look at it. So the technology and the community kind of really dictates the value. So when I'm talking about value, I'm kind of looking at the impact on the world. So the bigger impact it has on the world, the more valuable that the crypto would be. So another thing I would end up saying is paying attention to, it's not the price, but the market cap. The reason why I said the market cap, because it really gives you a realistic idea of how much money is in how much money is into that particular cryptocurrency. Another thing I would pay attention to is they have something called like the white paper. So it pretty much explains what the purpose of the coin and the founders, so you can kind of get an idea. With crypto though, to kind of reduce the risk, only dollar cost average. I'm a big fan of dollar cost averaging because it takes a lot of the emotion out. A lot of times even for experienced investors, emotion is a key component of like how, because we're human. So whenever, things look good, you kind of get excited. When things look bad. So a lot of times, dollar cost average, if you're thinking about it from an investor perspective, 5-10 years, that dollar cost average, a lot of times you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, those are definitely, dollar cost averaging is definitely a good way to approach the subject of cryptocurrency. In addition to some of the characteristics that you've already referenced, are there any other characteristics that you would suggest investors look for when it comes to cryptocurrency?
Those are the ones that stand out to me the most. And I probably will also say the interaction with inside of the community. So a lot of times, like if you can go on their sites and you can kind of see how like the people who are interacting it and how strong the community is. Like you can check it out maybe for this coin or XRP or Polkadot. You can kind of really get a feel because the community is really the one that's kind of really going to push. If you can think about it like a movement. Exactly.
So, Eamon, those are all really good characteristics. Thank you so much for those. I guess to sort of wrap up this interview, we have one final question, and it's the big question of the night. What is your absolute dream job?
So I would say my dream job, I would want to say maybe investor relations. So they pretty much would be the one that works with the community and businesses and pretty much dictate making investment decisions. So, okay, we have a particular project. Would it be a good fit for the community? So that way you're working on both sides. You're working on the sides where the technical part, where, this is the investing strategy, this is our goal. And then you're also working with the community to see their needs. You're kind of putting it together.
Thank you again to Eamon Dow for sharing your insights on crypto. And thank you to everyone for listening to today's discussion. We'll be back next week for another episode of Early Bird. Have a great day.